Ladies and gentlemen, it is your sweet Zionist Prince Tall, the traveling clack, coming at you live from Israel once again. We've got the amazing Douglas Murray back in action. Let's take a look.
And people say, well, why are you so bothered about Israel? And I hear that from the right. The left don't care. They know I'm beyond saving. But on the right, I hear that. And I think they don't realize, they think it's some weird thing. Like, what is this small state? Why does it bother you? I don't think they've even remotely reflected on what I regard as the deepest reasons to care. It seems to me, if, as you well know, Western civilization is based on the legacy of Athens and Jerusalem. Athens is under great assault always, but it's not actually under existential assault at the moment. What is being attempted by Israel's enemies is the philosophical and cultural equivalent of burning all the libraries of Alexandria. This is one of the underpinnings of Western civilization, utterly, utterly at risk. And not
Douglas is so correct about this, by the way, because something that I have an issue with, for example, when it comes to this argument coming from Westerners. A lot of people in the West don't take a second to acknowledge the fact that their civilization in the West, that they love so much, their democracy, their God, their rights, all of this was developed in the land of Israel by the descendants of the Israelites, also known as the Jews. The Old Testament, the New Testament, all of Western civilizations. And the love that you have for it was developed in our land in Israel. You carry Israel with you every day. Yet you dare to shit talk it. You don't carry Palestine. You don't carry Arab culture or Islamic culture with you. You do carry Jewish culture with you. Every single day. And I think of examples like idiots like Macklemore, who came out this year with a stupid song and pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine. His name is literally Benjamin. You literally don a Jewish name, an Israelite name. You don that. And you have the right to turn back on something that's been given to you or taken from our culture and brought to the rest of the world. And that's crazy. People they don't ponder that. They don't think about that on a daily basis.
Not in a sort of metaphorical way where people might use it as a sort of book subtitle, but the real thing. I mean, I've sometimes thought about it this way. I haven't tried this out in public before. How many Jews are there in the world?
15 million.
15 million. Okay. This going to come. This may come across really coarse, but let me put it this way. I mean, there are lots of conflicts in the world, and I've covered a lot of conflicts involving a lot of people. But it's conceivable that at some point, 15 million Christians could be killed. It would be a disaster, a tragedy. It's conceivable that at some point, Burma, India, somewhere, 15 million Muslims could be killed. It would be a disaster. It would be a tragedy of an unimaginable scale, of mid-20th century scale. But if 15 million Jews were killed, that's the end of the story. That's it. Now, what does that mean for the Jewish people? It's the end. The people who saw off everyone from Pharaoh to Hitler disappeared in the 21st century. Everyone else, in my view, wouldn't survive either. Western civilization could not survive the destruction of the Jewish state because it would be, among much else, the cutting away of the whole tree that we're on, and Western civilization would die.
There's a man that really gets it. I'm not saying that, like, if you're a Christian in the West or a Muslim in the East, I'm not saying that if you're a Buddhist in China or in India or in Sri Lanka or a Hindu, that you owe everything to us, Jews, to Israel. I don't think that the world will literally collapse if Jewish people go away. But you consistently trying to undermine us. Yes, you Arab Muslims out there that I always speak to. You Arab Muslims out there that want to call us colonizers, fake Jews, whatever you want to have it. You want to consider the Palestinians the real Jews that don't practice Jewish culture or Israelite culture. They're just more Muslim radical Arabs who have been Arabized. The more you try to erase us from the connection of this land, the more of a disservice you do to this planet. Because if I could speak selfishly for a moment or toot my own horn, we are a gift to this world. And I'm the last kind of Jew who goes around honking the Jewish horn, saying we invented the microchips and the this and the insulin and the cherry tomatoes and irrigation and all that. I hate those talking points because I'm not here to make you like me. But in reality, I know a people whose core mission revolves around this concept of tikkun olam, fixing the world. It's literally something every Jewish baby is raised with. Fixing the world, making the world a better place than you left it. Something we carry deep in our hearts. The most secular Jew knows this concept. The most secular Jew. And we have so much pride in it. You don't understand how much pride we have in that concept. It's not something I can convey to you because it comes from the soul. What we believe to be the neshama, it comes from deep within us. This yearning to fix the world, to make the world a better place. When you try to tug on that rope and remove that connection from these very special people who are actively working on this, whether they're in prayer and meditation or working in the world banks or in politics or flying around the world as Doctors Without Borders, or coming up with new inventions for the healthcare system, or for railroads, or for ambulances, or for planes, or for... I just saw a video about the Israelis developing something that could put out fires like the Iron Dome. When you actively try to quell this yearning for light, this yearning for fixing the world, you yourself are doing a disservice to the planet. You yourself are doing a disservice to humanity. Allah did not want this. In the Quran, how many times, while it also says a lot of bad stuff about the Jews in Bnei Israel and the children of Israel, how many times does it honor the Jews? Does it honor children of Israel? How many times? Does it say how special we are? You want to call us all fake? You want to call me a Pajit from India? I don't know what the fuck that even means. You don't understand. My grandparents were willing to die over the fact that they were Jews. When Muslims came to them with literal swords in their houses in the nights of the Farhud in Iraq in 1941, when they came at them with swords like savages, they were going to stand there and die as a Jew. And that happened in Turkey, and that happened in the Caucasus Mountains where my grandpa was from, and that happened in Iraq and in Kurdistan. So what you see is a product of a fully Middle Eastern man, fully native indigenous to this region. Not a single drop of blood that doesn't revolve around this region of our ancestors. And how many hundreds of thousands, millions of people just like me who are part of this great Jewish nation. And the more you try to call us fake, the more you try to separate us from our connection to this land that we are a part of, that we fought for, that we yearn to come back home to for so long, the more you do a disservice to your own community, to humanity. And the more you bring out the darkness, and you make it harder for all of us to bring in the light. The reality is, partner with your Jew. Look at the nations that have partnered with the Jews. Look at the nations that have worked with the Israelis. Look at the nations that have made the Jews feel safe and supported. Look at them. They all prosper. They all do good. What nation has gotten a detriment from being a friend to Israel? What nation has been hurt by being a friend to Israel? By being a friend to the Jews, by not being anti-Semitic. What nation has hurt from it? None. It's a blessing. We carry an element with us of holiness within every single Jew, of love and light and wanting to better the world. And again, not coming in from an aspect of sitting on a pedestal saying Jews are the best. That's not what I'm saying. Every person has this capability within them, but we're raised with this value. I'm not even saying it in a spiritual element. I'm saying we are raised with this part of how we operate. It's embedded in our DNA of who we are, theoretically or figuratively. partner with us, be our friend, be our ally, support us, uplift us, and watch us change the world and make the world a better place.
The existential threat against the Jewish people to not just be about the Jewish people. It matters deeply to me that it is about the Jewish people. But it also matters to me because it's about America. Could America survive if the Jewish people were no more on its watch, or everybody was forcibly deported from the Holy Land? Come on. Of course not. Could the isolationists bear the repercussions of that across the Middle East and elsewhere? Of course not. So I find this blitheness and the frivolity of it to be absolutely intolerable among the critics on the right.
Let me go one element deeper here before beautiful Ben Shapiro, our boy, we love him very much, goes deeper. Douglas Murray brought up a really good point here. I want you guys to take a second and imagine, all right? This is one of my favorite videos I made on this channel so far. I think I'm on a roll talking-wise. I want you to imagine a world, okay? Imagine an Israel where you really got what you wanted. The leftists, the pro-Palestinian Hamas supporters got what they wanted. Israel is devoid of Jews. You got your free Palestine. From the river to the sea, the Jews are gone. It's a Muslim-majority country. It's an Arab-majority land. Do you think for one moment, do you really think for 1 second that this place would be a peaceful kumbaya paradise of Arab Muslims? Tell me, today in Israel, as Afro-Bedouins and Afro-Gazans are considered slaves, where nobody is willing to marry them because of their color skin, where the Domari Palestinians are oppressed in Jerusalem because they have sub-Indian continent ancestry. Nobody's willing to marry them or hire them, and they're treated like garbage by their own Palestinian brethren. Where the Arabs of the north hate the Arabs of the south, and the Arabs of Jerusalem hate the Arabs of Jaffa. Where the Bedouins of the north want to kill the Bedouins of the West Bank, and the Bedouins of the West Bank want to kill the Bedouins in the Negev, and the Negev Bedouins want to kill everybody. You tell me for one moment, if the Jews suddenly disappeared, you think all of a sudden the Palestinians, the Arabs of this land, would make peace? You think that the Druze, who are Arab, would all of a sudden live in coexistence and harmony with the people who have undermined them because they're not Islamic? You think that Christian populations of Nazareth and the Galilee, of Bethlehem, would all of a sudden flourish and start raising in number? Or what do you think is more realistic? That reality? Or reality where all the Arabs of this region would just start fighting and killing each other the way they have in, I don't know, Lebanon? Syria? Yemen? How about Somalia and Sudan? Egypt? You tell me, what's more realistic?
One of the things that's been so amazing about all of this is just the sense that the West has lost its moorings. I mean, I was more disturbed, from a sort of Jewish perspective as a Jew. Tragedies happen to the Jews, terrorist attacks happen to Jews, slaughters happen to Jews. This is sort of the story of Jewish history. But the idea that you have hundreds of thousands of Westerners who are marching in solidarity with the murderers, that was on some level more disturbing to me than the actual massacre itself. Certainly not in terms of the actual amount of human suffering and the horrifying evil and barbarity of it. But in terms of the threat to the civilization as a whole, it seems to me that one of the things that we're seeing in terms of this sort of right-wing backlash that's now happening in Europe, it's very much of a piece with that. It's very much Europe and I'm hoping America saying, if we don't have any values for us to rely upon, then the people who are marching through the streets are going to end up running this place.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm proud of also everything I said in this video. And I hope that you guys got some good nuggets and food for thought. And I appreciate Douglas Murray and Ben Shapiro endlessly for standing up for the Jewish people and for Israel. I love you guys a long time. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.